In this video, let's talk about the Chiefs signing a local defensive back from K-State, a conversation with ChatGPT about the AFC West, and look at the Chiefs running back room featuring some recent training footage from a sneaky talented undrafted prospect in Deneric Prince. But first, how about those? First up, me and my wife Danny went to Arrowhead over the weekend to attend the KC Summer Beer Fest, and we got to get in early to tour the Chiefs locker room, which was a pretty surreal experience. Being able to take photos by so many awesome Chiefs players' lockers definitely soaked it all in, as I soaked in a couple of drinks, but I digress about that. It was just my first time being able to see the locker room and some of the kind of behind the scenes there, as well as getting on the field. Lifelong Chiefs fan, first time doing it. Highly recommend. Make sure you guys do it if you are able, at least sometime in your life. It was freaking awesome. Anyway, Chiefs news time. It was announced today that the Chiefs signed K-State cornerback Ekow Boye-Doe, who was one of the 51 tryout players the Chiefs hosted for their rookie minicamp over the weekend. He's got a pretty awesome story as well, being born in Ghana and eventually finding his way to Lawrence, Kansas to play high school ball before playing college for K-State, and now gets a chance to play for the Kansas City Chiefs, staying local, kind of like Felix and Udike Uzama. The 6-foot, 171-pound corner played in 42 games with 35 starts and had a career-best 26 tackles and 5 PBUs in 2022. It's an uphill battle for him like most other UDFAs, but I'm excited to see how things play out. And to make room for Boye-Doe, the Chiefs waived Missouri State wide receiver Ty Scott, who is now the 4th UDFA the team signed following the draft to be waived. And with this move, the Chiefs roster is currently, for now, at 90 players exactly. And then here's a crazy stat to kick off the week posted by Matt McMullen, and that is Patrick Mahomes already has the 8th most postseason TD passes in NFL history with 35. He only needs 2 more to pass Big Ben, 3 more to pass Drew Brees, and 6 to pass Peyton Manning. The dude has been a starter for 5 seasons, and if you look at the list, it is pretty mind-blowing considering how many years most of the guys on this list played in the league to achieve what they did, and Mahomes is quickly climbing through the ranks in only his first 5 years, with many of those years being without playing in the wild card round of the playoffs. Mahomes has helped KC to the playoffs all 5 years he's been a starter and has only played in 1 wild card game, and that is absolutely mind-blowing. Next up, defensive tackle Chris Jones, for the most part, keeps his Twitter streak alive regarding a Frank Clark return. It all started on May 8th when he tweeted out to Frank Clark saying, "Let's finish it," then tagging the Chiefs official page, then followed up with the X Factor GIF. And on May 9th, he said, "Bring the shark back, Chiefs," tagging them as well. A day later, on May 10th, he once again said, "Bring the shark back. We'll post every day until it's done." And on May 12th, possibly missing the 11th after all, so he missed a day, he tweeted out again about a Frank Clark return with the hashtag "In It to Win It." And after that, Frank Clark himself finally responded with this photo of him with the Chiefs flag, quite possibly planting it, and said, "That's our So he's got Frank's attention. And then on May 13th, he said, "Bring my slime back," with the shark emoji. And just yesterday on Mother's Day, he retweeted a video featuring all of Frank's postseason sacks, simply saying, "My brother." And now the question remains, will the persistent thumps of Chris Jones via Twitter be enough to get both sides, the Chiefs and Frank Clark, to come to terms on some sort of a deal and get him to return? I mean, I don't know. Time will certainly tell. And for more details on my thoughts on this situation, I talked about this in more depth in this video right up here, one of these corners. And from here, I want to talk about my brief experience with asking ChatGPT about the Chiefs and the AFC West. It was pretty entertaining, as well as some recent training footage from a Chiefs UDFA that has one of the best chances of making the roster. But first, I got to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mattress, who is currently running their Memorial Day sale, offering 35% off for a limited time. You see, they reached out to me last year, actually, offering to send me a mattress and some gold coins in exchange for my thoughts in a video. And since the Chiefs were slept on all last offseason and ended up winning another ring, it only made sense to keep things going with Mattress, because a good night's sleep is important to me, especially because I've been dealing with some longer term back issues, and I've had this mattress for over 6 months now, and my sleep has been in a borderline hibernation state ever since. Simply put, this mattress is fantastic. I personally am a back sleeper who likes a medium firmness in my mattress, but my wife sleeps on her stomach and prefers one that is more firm. So after taking their online quiz, we were matched with the Elite Hybrid mattress that would benefit us both. And after ordering, they shipped it out to our front door in a box with another box for the pillows. And from there, we threw our old mattress out. Then we took the new mattress into our room, unboxed it, unrolled it, and boom, we officially upgraded our sleep quality. You see, Bear's sleep recovery technology uses a Celliant powered fabric to help you stay cool throughout the night, and all mattresses are Green Guard Gold certified, Certi Pure US certified, and Eco Flex fiberglass free. Trust me, it's as safe and reliable as a Mahomes to Kelsey touchdown in the red zone. And just like in my experience, Bear delivers the mattress right to your door in a box with free shipping in the US, and it's super easy to set it up yourself. And if it makes you nervous to buy something you haven't tried, Bear has a 120-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it. And if you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund, which is something fans from the rest of the AFC West will never receive for showing up to a game and watching their team lose. Plus, Bear mattresses have a lifetime warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I certainly love my quality of sleep with Bear Mattress, and I think you will too. So just go to bearmattress.com/HBTC, where there's currently a Memorial Day sale featuring 35% off for a limited time, so you can always click my link in the description for 30% off even if the sale is over. Alright, I recently went on to ChatGPT, which is basically AI technology that allows you to have human-like conversations, and asked a bunch of questions about the AFC West, and here's some of the best moments from that entertaining interaction. Why are the Raiders such a poverty NFL franchise? Some critics argue that the Raiders' struggles are due in part to questionable decisions made by the front office, including draft choices and trades. And then the Raiders play in the AFC West, one of the more competitive divisions in the NFL, which includes strong teams such as the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. What the hell? They're not good. The Broncos are not a competitive team, though. The Broncos have had periods of success, but not recently. Quarterback instability is one reason, obviously, after Peyton Manning's retirement. However, the Broncos, like any other team, have the potential to turn things around through good draft picks. Broncos don't have any draft picks. By 2023, the team's performance could be significantly different. Whoa, why is Russell Wilson such a cringy person? If you find Russell Wilson's persona to be cringy, that's a valid personal opinion, but it's also worth noting that there are many fans who appreciate his approach to his career and his life off the field. All right, fine. Does Patrick Mahomes own the Raiders because he wins so often against them? While it's true that Mahomes has had a strong record against the Raiders and many other teams in the NFL for that matter, that doesn't mean he owns the team in any literal sense. Tell me a joke about Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. Why don't Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson ever play hide and seek? Because no matter where they hide, the football always finds them. I think ChatGPT tried a bit too hard to be fair to the Raiders and the Broncos. You don't always have to be fair, okay? But oh well, you live and you learn. Next up, the Chiefs' newly signed UDFA Deneric Prince could be seen training in some recent footage over the weekend as he prepares for the 2023 NFL season with the Chiefs, and he looks good out there, to say the least. I personally am excited to see him at OTAs, mandatory minicamp, and hopefully getting some action in preseason games, because I really think he's one of the few UDFAs who really could sneak onto the Chiefs roster. Zach Eisen listed Prince as his favorite Chiefs UDFA, saying he's 5'11", 216 pounds, and ran a 4.41 40, and Eisen thinks he makes this roster pretty comfortably. Great size, fast, and plays well through contact. He's a willing pass blocker, wasn't asked to do much as a pass catcher, but showed capability. And on top of that, he has some eerily similar traits to Isaiah Pacheco. Talked about that in more depth in another video. And also during Brett Veach's post-draft presser, he said that, quote, Prince is going to come in here and compete for playing time, which signaled to many that Veach may very well believe Prince could in fact make the roster. Running back Jerrion Ealy was signed as a UDFA last offseason, and while he didn't make the active roster, he was signed to the Chiefs practice squad, where he remained for most of the season. So I think that is the floor, the very bottom for Prince, the practice squad, unless he's scooped up by another team, which very well could happen, but his ceiling much higher than that. I think he can make the roster as Chiefs RB4 and even produce somewhat on the field this year. But I think the biggest question for me at the moment is, how many running backs do the Chiefs plan on keeping on the active roster? Last year, they rolled with 5, following roster cutdowns for the 2022 NFL season. However, that included fullback Mike Burton. So basically, 4 running backs and a fullback. Now, back in 2021, the season prior, they rolled with 3 running backs and a fullback. So obviously, Prince's chances of making the actual 53 depends on how many running backs the Chiefs will opt to keep on the active roster during cutdowns. If they opt for 4 and a fullback, Prince's chances are pretty good, in my opinion at least, as someone someone who could be RB4 behind Pacheco, McKinnon, and CEH. If CEH isn't traded or something crazy like that. But if the Chiefs opt to keep 3 in a fullback, I think Prince's chances are much more slim, even though a portion of Chiefs Kingdom are not CEH fans due to his production levels compared to his draft position, a first-round pick in 2020. I still think he would get a nod over Prince's RB3 based on his experience and his ability to produce on this offense when healthy. He really is a valuable depth piece, with the only caveat being his ability to stay healthy on the field. I guess it's also not impossible that the Chiefs sign a veteran running back to help out the room as a whole, even though they just signed McKinnon, but I personally feel like that is less likely at this given moment at least. And as if that wasn't enough to think about, what about the scenario where the Chiefs opt to not have a fullback on the roster and just roll with 4 running backs? Well, I'd say once again, Prince's chances are pretty good if that happened, but Andy Reid loves his fullbacks, and according to Charles Goldman of Chiefs Wire, he has never had a season where he did not carry a fullback on the team's 53-man roster. Even during his tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs, he's always had a fullback and made it a priority to go out and acquire one. When he arrived in 2013, sending cornerback Javier Arenas to the Arizona Cardinals for fullback Anthony Sherman, and when Sherm retired, the Chiefs went out and signed fullback Mike Burton during the offseason and kept him for the past 2 years before he signed to the Broncos this past offseason, reuniting with former head coach Sean Payton. So I guess I've sort of meshed this conversation here about Deneric Prince to one also about Andy Reid and the fullback position, but it's because the Chiefs actually do not have a fullback on the 90-man roster currently, which I found to be very interesting. And that's where I want to ask you guys, do you think the Chiefs end up bringing a fullback back into the fold like they have every other year since Andy Reid has been head coach? Or nah, fullback is a dying breed, not many teams use one, just have a tight end play a hybrid role of some sort and call it a day? And then what about Deneric Prince? What odds do you give him actually making the Chiefs roster, especially if they opt to keep 4 running backs? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those